Well, in my opinion, I think it just seems like part of the whole move to isolate America from the rest of the world. Part of the whole move to isolate America. I mean, the main character syndrome of Americans maybe prevents them from understanding that them being informed, them being educated, them understanding the world is not necessarily the most important thing to anyone. You know, they think that if Americans are informed, if Americans are educated, it's somehow more threatening and more important than anyone else being informed and anyone else being educated. This is the main character syndrome that Americans have. So they think that banning TikTok is about keeping Americans from being exposed to reality. I mean, I think that's surely part of it, but I think that it's just as likely that banning TikTok is also about cutting the rest of the world off from American influence, cutting the rest of the world off from what's going on and what's going to go on inside of America. It's isolating America. It's closing America off. That's what they're doing. They're shutting you all inside so-called Fortress America, which could just as easily and more accurately be described as Prison America. That's what they're doing. And they don't want anyone outside to necessarily know what's going on inside. They don't want to know, they don't want the rest of the world to know what's going on in there. You have to consider that possibility. It's not just about you. This may be just as much about making sure that American citizens don't know or don't see what America is doing to other people around the world. It may be just as much about that as it is about making sure that other people around the world won't see what America is doing to their own people and what they're going to do to their own people.
So apparently TikTok is back. I left out to go to Costco. It is snowing, pseudo storm outside. And when I left, TikTok was banned. And I was going to make a video about that. And I'm still going to make a video as you're seeing here. But I come back and I refresh everything. Come to find out TikTok is apparently back. For whatever reason it's back. Apparently what I'm hearing is because Trump simply asked because his inauguration is tomorrow.
Hello from the Americas. How are we here? Okay, so if TikTok is tweeting they're restoring service to the U.S., then who made that happen? I don't know if any of y'all follow Aaron Parnas. He's where I get all of my news from. And he said that Trump asked for TikTok to come back today because his inauguration got moved inside. And so that way everybody has TikTok tomorrow so they can see his inauguration happen. Is that for real? Just because he fucking asked? That's why it came back? I literally hate politics. I literally hate it. That being said though, I'm literally so happy we're back. Hi! My real question is, will we get an actual explanation? Or will this just go down as like one of the greatest unsolved mysteries? Like that one time they like took our phones away and then we threw a fit and so they gave it to us back. Genuinely feels like we got put in timeout. And for what fucking reason? I'm happy to be back.
And people are being happy with all the fanfare and all of that. However, I don't have TikTok, so I don't have any stake in that, dog in that, and all that. However, considering my background and what I know of this kind of thing, there are certain things that I would like to say about this, and I think it's in everyone's best interest to listen. I'm also going to be splicing in certain things from Middle Nation. I'll also have a link to that, but let's get going. Let's get going.
I mean, we can talk about how the TikTok ban exposes the hypocrisy of those who, you know, champion freedom and so forth. Yet those same people work tirelessly to restrict it, when it doesn't serve their agenda. But I mean, who doesn't know that already? The politicians and the media tell you that it's dangerous, that TikTok is dangerous because it has ties to China and what have you, and they claim that your data isn't safe. But obviously, this is a lie. I mean, where was that concern for your data when U.S. tech giants were caught selling your data to China? When Facebook sold it, when Google sold it, when Amazon sold it, when they co-modified your personal information, where was the political outrage, the politicians' outrage? Not to mention that every major politician was using TikTok during their campaigns, pandering to younger voters with their, you know, dance trends and hashtags and what have you. I mean, if TikTok was such a great threat, Why didn't those politicians lead by example and refuse to use it? I mean, the hypocrisy is just too transparent to really even merit comment, to be honest.
So there's several aspects to this, and the first aspect, and this is in no order of importance here, but just to get it out and to get this video done. The first one is, let's just be honest here, this was not about national security. Obviously, this was not about national security. Number one, if what was said was true, that Trump simply asked for it because his inauguration is tomorrow and it was moved inside and blah, 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 blah. I don't think his inauguration trumps national security. Trump's national security, right? I'd like to think maybe he's that special. Okay. I don't think so. So that alone, thank you, Trump, for that, proves that it is not, in fact, national security. That's the problem. Okay. China getting Americans' data. Okay, well, all of my data, except for perhaps my blood type, is on the dark web right now. And there wasn't a single Chinese app or Chinese anything responsible for that. T-Mobile has been breached about 10 times in the past. I've had T-Mobile now for about, I just called them recently and got some stuff reworked and got my bill lowered. And they said I've been with them for 18 years, 5 months, and some days, something like that. Okay? In that time, I have gotten 10 breach notice, at least 10. I stopped counting at 10. 10 breach notices from them where all kinds of data was gone. I am also with Capital One. They are, I mean, I have other bank accounts as well, but I am also with Capital One. They too have had numerous breaches. Okay? All of my data, all of my personal, or the PPI, personal identifiable information, is out there, at least on the dark web, if not on the clear net, and China had nothing to do with that. But yet they're worried about a Chinese app. And yet they're not trying to ban Temu, however it's pronounced, or Cheyenne, however that's pronounced. They're not trying to ban that either. But they're trying to ban certain things. And based on what I am going to play from Middle Nation, it's by the time this video is done, I think you're going to understand how exactly, or like you're going to see it the way I see it, as a potential, okay? So there's that. All these data breaches left and right. As somebody with the background I have been in the IT field for like 20 years now, with an emphasis on cybersecurity, but obviously I have the foundational stuff, the A+, network plus, security plus levels of things, right? I think most IT professionals, especially one dealing with data security, cybersecurity, and all that here in the U.S., probably, well, let me not say everywhere, because maybe other countries are a bit better with this than the U.S. is. But here in the U.S., can agree with me for the most part. These companies do not, I don't know why it is, but for some odd reason, they don't do anything unless something breaks. They don't take preventative steps. This is in the private sector, and from what I learned talking to some of my colleagues or peers in this field, when I was doing Uber, that's the exact same thing in the government as well. I mean, you think the company that you work at has old HM stuff? The government, my God. From what I understand, they are using stuff that is so old, it's like, how is this even running? Now, maybe the NSA might have some next level stuff, but that's one branch of the government out of, or one section of the government out of how many? So, that's the thing. Be it the government or be it these private companies, they do not fix things unless it's broken. And by then, it's the scandal and however much money they're paying in fees and all of that. But that's what people need to understand with this. So, there's that.
You know, there was a time when the U.S. government actually confronted monopolies, not protect monopolies. They actually wanted to break monopolies apart. They went after Standard Oil. They went after AT&T. They went after others because of their unchecked power that threatened the interests of the population, that threatened the interests of the people, and also challenged the power of the government. There were moments when the government actually acknowledged that they had a responsibility to serve the public. There was a time in history when that was a thing, when they didn't believe that their whole purpose was to serve corporations. But now look what's happening. Instead of challenging monopolies, they want to force TikTok to sell to a monopoly, you know, to either Meta or Google or some other tech behemoth. The same companies that already control your data, that already control your speech, that already control your online presence, and already control the narratives. They want all communication, they want all expression, they want all information to be under their control. That's what's going on in America. And like I said, it's not just about controlling what information comes in, but it's also about controlling what information goes out. What's truly at stake here is something obviously much deeper than a single app in TikTok. This is about the freedom to communicate without state control, without private sector control, the freedom to listen to each other without corporate gatekeepers deciding what you can and cannot listen to, what you can and cannot hear. TikTok has empowered voices the mainstream media ignores, and not just ignores, but suppresses. It's given ordinary people a way to bypass the filters of power and speak directly to each other. That's the really unique thing about TikTok.
Right. And on that glorious note, came across this a little while ago. Will this thing increase? There we go. Boom. So it's 14 hours ago. Okay. 2-minute read. All right. There you see it. You just heard what he said. All right, fine. And he made this video, obviously, before I think TikTok was even banned, much less if he knows. He might know now that it's back, but there's this. President-elect Donald Trump, rather, announced his plan to delay the ban on TikTok through a 50% ownership joint venture. 50%. Huh. I wonder what that is going to do when it comes to TikTok actually trying to make moves on anything. Okay. In a Sunday post on Truth Social, Trump asked companies, quote, not to let TikTok stay dark, saying he would issue an executive order right after taking office to extend the deadline, which was Sunday. Now, my thing is, what is it about this app specifically why he's making such a big deal about this? Why this app? Why not be like, okay, well, they got other apps. Okay, fine. Plus, they were all going to that actual Chinese one anyway, so whatever. What is so great about this app? Now, of course, I know I said earlier that, okay, well, his inauguration was moving inside, from what I've come to understand from one person that actually saw on someone else's video. Content creator on another content creator's video. But this, first of all, looking back on that's something as well, considering you have all of these different places, different entities that could live stream that shit. YouTube, Netflix, pretty much every single news entity, traditional news entity, is also online via YouTube and probably just their own direct streaming. So that also isn't an excuse. And my suspicion has been confirmed that TikTok was not needed because it was moved inside or whatever the hell that one person said. Because here it is, YouTube, what looks to be like Trump's, is Trump's official YouTube page hosting his inauguration. Obviously that makes sense. So that wasn't it. Okay, that's really not a reason or justification, whatever the wording you want to use. Moving right along. The plan to keep TikTok operational after he takes power presented for the first time. What the hell? The plan to keep TikTok operational after he takes power, presented for the first time, okay, would involve a joint venture with the United States having a 50% ownership position. The United States. So I guess that means, in a roundabout, bastardized version way means we all would have us ownership. I mean, what is the United States apart from all the people? Let's no. I tried to sell that one, but I couldn't, because let's be honest. If that logic really applied, there's a lot more important things that it should be applying to than TikTok. So, no. All right. United States is of the people, right? We the people? Which people? Okay, moving right along. Quote, by doing this, we save TikTok, keep it in good hands, and allow it to stay up. In good hands. Really, something that was a Chinese creation is apparently in good hands, quote unquote, in American hands. Interesting. Without U.S. approval, there is no TikTok. Excuse me. Without U.S. approval, there is no TikTok in the U.S. Anyway. With our approval, it's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe trillions. Trump said. I guess this goes back to what I said earlier of the amount, or did I say it already? Yeah, I think I already did say it. I'm actually editing this as I'm recording, so yeah. How much money is TikTok worth to the U.S. economy? Okay, maybe he did see it. Maybe he saw it versus everyone else who had their alternative reasons for wanting to get rid of this thing. He saw, I guess, the money. This is going to be devastating to the economy and a whole bunch of people, and the last thing you need right now is a bunch of people who more or less have access to guns getting pissed off that they managed to find some way to survive, and then some entity that they might have never even seen before in their life, God forbid they're in the middle of the United States, they've never been on the coast once, they've never been to Washington, much less seen these politicians face to face, but yet these entities are coming to destroy something they managed to scrimp together to stay alive, hopefully long enough for this economy to get better so they can go and find more solid income to try and build their life. Probably not in anyone's best interest that happens, okay? And that's just the middle of the United States. Then, of course, there's the coasts, both coasts, where the vast majority of the population is. Quote, therefore my initial thoughts is a joint venture between the current owners and or new owners whereby the U.S. gets a 50% ownership in a joint venture set up between the U.S. and whichever purchase we so choose. Now, the interesting thing about this is he's saying all of this, but I'm wondering what the Chinese company said about this. Because it's like, wait a minute, we never once said we were selling this thing. Like, the hell? Okay. The U.S. is banning us, but the rest of the world is not. We really don't need you all. But hey, whatever. TikTok ceased operations on Saturday night ahead of the ban, along with other apps owned by ByteDance, such as the video editing software CapCut. Oh, wow. Okay, they're the ones that... Okay, because I keep seeing this with these content creators, and I didn't realize... Okay. Users of TikTok were greeted with a message of optimism thanking Trump for his efforts. Quote, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. And the message, please stay tuned. An executive order was one of several options Trump could have taken to overturn the TikTok ban, with his joint venture plan being a new development. The law passed last year to ban TikTok, allows Trump to delay the ban by 90 days, but only if significant progress, quote unquote, has been made in finding a buyer. Okay, so really, it's technically not banned, but as a whole, it's still on. Its head is still in the guillotine. It's still on the chopping block. It's still on the butcher's table here. Okay. All right. In 2022, TikTok proposed a plan called Project in Texas. Under the proposal, U.S. officials could pick the app's American board of directors. The government would get veto power over new hires. Oh, here we go. All right. The government would get veto power over new hires and a Department of Defense linked... oh, shit. A Department of Defense linked American company would be paid to monitor its source code. The what? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell. Oh, negative, nigga. Oh, my God. You cannot... Oh, wow. Oh, hell no. You have got to be shitting me. Department of Defense linked American company would be paid to monitor its source code. And of course, that source code, no doubt, my tech brethren and sisterin and all that to back me up on this, no doubt that source code will not be open source, so that independent companies and independent sources can verify that source code to make sure that okay, wow, you have got to be shitting me with this. You have got to be shitting me. Monitor its source department. Woo. Okay, the deal provided a kill switch to U.S. officials to shut the app off if they believe it posed a threat. Through the Biden administration rejected the offer, Trump could try to revive a version of the plan. That is all I needed to see right there. That is all I needed to hear. Because of that, thing is, I was thinking, you know what, maybe I should join TikTok, see how I fare on that. After seeing this shit, fuck no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, hell no. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not, alright, well. Okay. You heard what he said. You heard what Mr. Bolson said. Okay? You heard what this man said. And then I just went and read this. I am seeing this the first time along with you. Like, I saved it just to come back to it. I found it on my phone, but I was out. I saved it, came back to it, read it right now. I'm seeing it the first time with you. That's why my reaction is the way it is. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So effectively, it's going to be no different than all these other apps. Because I remember when it was front and center how black people were going through it with these cops. And one thing that happened was, we're going on Facebook Live, Facebook Live. And these cops were able to call either the dispatch and have the dispatch do it, or they were able to call somebody, have one of them go back, and somebody called Facebook and had the thing turned off. So they're going Facebook Live with these cops BS. And these cops, because we all know they didn't do anything wrong, so, they went and called up and had the Facebook Live turned off. That's happened numerous times. And now TikTok has essentially offered the U.S., did offer way back when the U.S. the same thing, and for some odd reason they didn't take it. Here it is. What did he just say? What did Mr. Bolson just say? What did he just say? In fact, let's replay it again. Let us replay it again.
Instead of challenging monopolies, they want to force TikTok to sell to a monopoly, to either Meta or Google or some other tech behemoth. The same companies that already control your data, that already control your speech, that already control your online presence, and already control the narratives. They want all communication, they want all expression, they want all information to be under their control. That's what's going on in America. And like I said, it's not just about controlling what information comes in, but it's also about controlling what information goes out. What's truly at stake here is something obviously much deeper than a single app in TikTok. This is about the freedom to communicate without state control, without private sector control, the freedom to listen to each other without corporate gatekeepers deciding what you can and cannot listen to, what you can and cannot hear. TikTok has empowered voices the mainstream media ignores, and not just ignores, but suppresses. It's given ordinary people a way to bypass the filters of power and speak directly to each other. That's the really unique thing about TikTok.
The simple fact of the matter is, it's going a bit further than TikTok, because I wondered why it is that so many things that I happen to use kept going down, and they were all from external, outside of the U.S. In keeping with the theme of what Mr. Bolson has said, cutting off the communications. China has 100% control over the communications, over what comes in and out of their country, okay? The U.S. supposedly has freedom, okay. And yet we see what happened here. Saying nothing of the fact that ISPs can chop you off, and if they can't, and if they choose not to, then you can keep going up to higher domains and higher domains, all the way up to IANA, I believe it is. It's not ICANN, IANA, I believe. But then you have these things. But I wondered. I always wondered, like, what is going on? First, it was Kaspersky. If anybody who knows who they are, first it was Kaspersky, and I wondered, okay, they're claiming what they're claiming with that. But the thing with Kaspersky, though, that was years in the making, and I might not have it right, but I do believe that the time that what started the descent of Kaspersky as far as with the government, with the U.S. government is, and you can feel free to go look this up if you don't believe me, because this was years ago. Kaspersky was on government computers, okay? They were on a whole bunch of government computers, and in one case where this actually made news, the U.S., either by themselves or with the help of Israel, were working on a virus. And I don't mean like what happened before, back in like, what is the early 2000s or the 90s or something, that whole, if I'm not mistaken, it's Stuxnet or some crap like that. No. They were working on something more recently, infinitely more recently. They were working on a virus that was going to do something, or a worm, or something like that. Kaspersky detected that thing. Across all the layers of confidentiality and security and all that stuff that it had, Kaspersky was able to detect that malware. It dug into their systems, pulled that thing out, quarantined it. And obviously, if it can't disinfect the thing, it goes and probably sends it back to whatever mothership labs for analysis to be able to deconstruct that thing. That was a problem for them. And I remember seeing that article, and I'm like, huh. Literally, the thing did exactly what it's supposed to do. And the thing with Kaspersky is, the Kaspersky antivirus system has, by independent labs, I believe more than one, but independent labs, been consistently proven, unlike, I'm going to name names, Symantec, unlike McAfee, unlike anything American made, right? It has proven consistently, year after year, through independent tests, to be one of, if not the best, having more or less a 0% false positive rate and a 100% detection rate as far as malware. More or less. So, if you want to say, okay, just use an American, no. You ask anybody. Don't take my word for it, because God forbid, my credentials. God forbid, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Go ask anybody who you trust as far as IT, and ask them, hey, is Symantec, is McAfee, are they good antivirus? Even if they've gotten better now. Nah. Trust Windows Defender before I trust those two. And that's what happened with them. And now all of a sudden, fresh out of nowhere, potential Russian whatever the hell. Even though this was not a problem when they first installed those things on those computers. Then there was TP-Link, and they're actually going through it right now. Apparently, they're trying to ban that. Now, TP-Link, they make routers and modems and stuff like that. I used to use Kaspersky until I gained the knowledge that, well, okay, let me not say what I'm going to say, because then people, oh my God, you really don't need antivirus? Well, actually, you could probably just look this up, so I guess it doesn't matter if I say it. I don't run antivirus on my systems, okay? Before that, like back in my Windows XP days, Windows 7 days, I used to. I don't anymore, because I know what I know. I know how to not get hit with that stuff, okay? You, average person, yeah, you run that stuff. You run that shit, okay? But I don't need to. And people that know what I know, that are on my level, that are in my caliber, they don't really need to either. Okay, don't need to. Okay. So that was one thing that I used to use that the U.S. went after. Another thing that I actually currently use, okay, my whole network is linked to a TP-Link system, a TP-Link gigabit router. Okay? Or a wireless router, anyway. And they're going after them too. Why? For the exact same, national security, this could be the... And apparently nobody I have heard say to them, okay, if you're so worried about this from Kaspersky as far as the Russian government, and from TP-Link as far as China, okay, what guarantee do we have that these American companies, sorry Cisco, McAfee, Symantec, all of these American companies aren't doing the exact same thing on behalf of the U.S. We're talking backdoors and all of that. Google, Apple. What guarantee, what tangible guarantee can we give that can be independently checked by any independent third parties plural, can be given that the U.S. isn't using American companies under threat of God knows what, subpoenas and whatever, to do the exact same thing that they're accusing China and Russia of doing, of which there was no evidence. There was no evidence. Either here in the U.S. or with the U.S. allies or anybody else, there has been no evidence showing Russia, Kaspersky, doing anything on behalf of the Russian government. There has been no evidence given so far that I've seen as of Monday, January 20th, 2025 at 3:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time that has shown TP-Link, which actually still has, and which has an American-facing side over in California, right? And I've had it for a bit now. No evidence. But yet we're supposed to trust Linksys, and I believe D-Link is also American, or was that German? No. Linksys and Cisco and all those American, we're supposed to trust them? I'll tell you right now, I've reached a point in this country where I trust China and Russia with my shit more than I trust the U.S. Maybe I would trust the U.S. more than China and Russia if I lived in China or Russia, but considering what I see here and what I know, I trust China and Russia with my information more than I trust the U.S. And hell, if I were to, I don't know, move back to Jamaica or something, or live in some other country that's not any of those, I probably wouldn't trust any of them. But I trust the U.S. the least. Okay, the least out of all of them. Out of all the countries on planet Earth, I trust the U.S. the least, and pretty much anybody in 14 eyes. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. So, there you have it. Kaspersky's gone. They're trying to get rid of TP-Link. And now TikTok is only back because of this. And again, if they were smart, they would at least try to hide it by going after Temu and Shein and anything else. I mean, hell, let's bring this back. Well, actually, no, hold on. Where is it? Focus. Anyway. These two apps right here. This one on the bottom is the app. Apparently it's one app. What is it? It is V-Do, whatever the hell. Basically it can, it allows for this little body cam as well as the dash cam in my car. I have both of those linked to this Backdoor app. And then the one above that is intelligent doorbell. Okay, just don't know the name of this app. Tuya, T-U-Y-A. Point is, they're both Chinese. Okay? They're both Chinese. Both Chinese apps. So really, if America really cared like that, they would be going after everyone, and they'd probably go after Temu with as much Temu, however you pronounce it, with as much fervor as they're going after TikTok. But they're not. Why? Because of communication. Even though if they're worried about people's data, Temu deals with people's bank accounts and stuff. Temu deals with people's addresses and stuff. I don't think TikTok does. So, there you have that. There you have that. There you have that. There's a lot more to this than just, oh my God, what am I going to do about my money now? This was my little side hustle that managed to get me from poverty to more or less middle class, pseudo middle class light, zero cal, zero carb, zero fat, vegan middle class, right? Gluten-free middle class. There is a lot more to all of this, and I highly doubt most of these content creators are going to anyway, and the ones that will, not even saying me, but all the other ones that will, they probably won't get the millions of views that they should get to warn everybody about this. Anyway.
Because when you cut off the lines of communication, when you cut off all the lines in the channels of information, it goes both ways. Your people don't see what's going on outside, and people outside don't see what's going on inside. There's two sides to this. Because look, now all of your big social media platforms in America, they are all, in one way or another, limbs of the power structure in the U.S. You know, the Meta monopoly with Zuckerberg, who's always ready to switch sides, depending on who's in power. Whoever's in power, he'll go along with them. And of course, Elon Musk, who's literally a part of the government now. So, I mean, your platforms are controlled. Your platforms are restricted. And they're geared towards, strictly towards, narrative propagation and the creation and the fortification of echo chambers within the accepted parameters of discourse. It's a kind of a North Koreaization of the U.S. in a way. You will only know what is useful to the power structure for you to know, and we will only know what the power structure tells us about you and your situation over there. Which for the rest of the world just means that America has basically gone dark in terms of anything like genuine information about the conditions and the situation within the United States. Basically, America is becoming a giant re-education camp. Obviously, one of the main issues has been the fact that TikTok has exposed Americans, propagandized Americans to the reality of what Israel is doing in Gaza. That's a very important issue. What America is doing in Gaza, in fact, because that's the reality. Let's be honest. This is the genocide that America has delegated to Israel. That's all. That's what Israel has always been, just a U.S. colonial client carrying out the destabilizing wishes of the neocons. So yeah, for sure, that's one of the reasons why they want to ban TikTok. One of the main reasons was because there are millions of Americans who were exposed because of TikTok for the first time to the reality of what's really happening in Palestine. But that just represents the greater danger of having direct lines of communication between the people of the world with the people of America. This is what they don't want to see happen. So this isn't just about TikTok, obviously. It's about controlling the narrative, and everyone knows that. It's about ensuring that that all social media platforms and that all platforms for communication are all aligned with the interests of the state and with the interests of corporations who the state serves. They don't want a free marketplace of ideas, obviously. They want a monopoly on truth. They approach the marketplace of ideas the same way they approach the financial marketplace, which is monopolization. They want to determine who gets to speak and who gets to listen and what they get to listen to. So they want you to be isolated. I've said it before. It's like a cult. America's like a cult. It's just like in a cult, cult members are not allowed to talk to non-members, so that their loyalty to the cult version of reality won't be challenged and won't be weakened, and they'll believe it. But it's also, it keeps the outside world from knowing what's going on inside the cult, what's going on inside the cult compound. So America now is basically nothing but a cult compound at this point.
Hence the reason why they also probably brought it back, because number one, okay, there's the money aspect of it. A lot of money going to get lost. Okay. Number two, Americans aren't really trusting the mainstream media like that. In fact, the mainstream media has been dead for quite a while now, and they're trying to revive themselves by coming online, where alternative media forms of information were born, right? Okay. They're trying to, I guess, retrofit themselves to that which alternative forms of media are essentially native, right? And source code in, okay? There's that. But then they're like, you know what? We can actually use this thing. If they love their TikTok so much, we can use this. And since we're going to have access to the source code, right? According to that thing we just read, or I just read, we can filter out that which we don't want. Be it Palestine this, be it what's happening to black people in America that, be it whatever else that we happen to not want can get filtered out, but you get to still do your dance and you get to still do your small business bullshit, your little side hustles and whatnot, as you get to supposedly crawl yourself out of poverty despite the inflation. So all is happy, and they remain stupid. I think we all know who I mean when I say they, right? In fact, I'm going to go check it right now. Because I remember, also keeping with things that they kept going after, I have not heard of RT in a while now. Russia Today, in fact, I'm going to go look them up right here, right now. YouTube. We're going to go straight to YouTube. We're going to look at I'm going to look for two people, or for two entities here. RT is one. Washington Free Beacon, I see a RT thing here. In fact, I'll let you all come along with me. Okay. Rise and fall of RT America, Russian-backed TV. Now, there you go. There you go. Okay, U.S. versus America's news. Okay, and this was 4 months ago. Let's go directly. Russia Today. No RT. Okay. The next one, what the hell is this? Hindustan Times, The Sun, D.W. News, Daily Mail, Real News Network. There's another one. See if they're here. Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera. Are they still here? Okay. Al Jazeera English. They're here. For now. Okay. When is their last video? Okay, an hour ago. Al Jazeera. Now, hold on. Al Jazeera is backed by, is it Qatar or the U.A.E? Al Jazeera is backed by who? I believe, is it the Qatari government? Qatar, whatever, however you pronounce that business. Al Jazeera, where is the Wikipedia? Here we go. private benefit, 1996. Oh, 1996, okay. Qatar, headquarters, Qatar Radio and Television Corporation, Doha, Qatar. All right, so there's that. At least they're still here for now. Okay. I can't imagine they're spouting pro-Israeli business, even if they're not openly with them. Okay, I'll leave that. I'll leave that. Yeah, in fact, yeah, okay. I still have Kaspersky's threat intelligence business here. Because much like Virus Total, this thing is actually quite helpful to my various analysis. Moving right along. Yeah. I have a feeling that perhaps maybe if they got rid of Al Jazeera like that, the way they tried to get rid of the way they did get rid of RT, the way they got rid of Kaspersky and all that, that might not work well with various interests that are really all about the money, be they U.S. or Middle Eastern, American or Muslim, money. Okay, so there's that.
One of the imperatives of Middle Nation, what we're trying to build here with Middle Nation, is to build connections, is to build bridges between the Muslims in the Western diaspora with the Muslim world, and between the average struggling people in America and in the West with the people in the global South who are going through many of the same types of struggles. There's really not that big of a difference between most average Americans and most people in the global South. We also want to build connections between members of the global majority with members of the global majority who live in the West, who in the West are called minorities. Members of the global majority who live in the West are called minorities. And we want people to communicate. We want to build networks. We want to build solidarity. Because most of you in the West, most of you in America, are actually living the lives of colonized people. That's a fact. Your governments, your power structure, doesn't see you any different than they see us. They look at you the same way that they look at us. They treat you the same way that they treat us. And you should be trying to connect yourself with the rest of us. And you can see that the power structure wants to cut you off. They want to cut off your ability to do that, which tells you everything you need to know about how vital it is for you to build that sort of a connection with the people in the global South, with the people outside of America. They're shutting the door between us so that you won't know what they're doing to us and so that we won't know what they're doing to you. See? I think too many people are thinking about it only one way. They're only thinking about how the TikTok ban, they're thinking about it in terms of Americans being denied access to information because of that main character syndrome. But really, banning TikTok is a bit like when the cops turn off the CCTV camera in the interrogation room. Everyone knows what's coming. Everyone knows what that means. It means enhanced interrogation techniques are about to be undertaken. And you know how brutal America has been around the world. The whole world has suffered police brutality from that so-called global policeman. Well, that rogue cop, that you have in all your movies, that rogue cop, that bad apple who never goes by the book, that anti-hero that you put in every second Hollywood film, that cop is being taken off the beat. And he's coming home. And I think he's going to start terrorizing his own family now. Just like violent cops in real life have a much higher incidence of domestic violence. Well, the world's policeman is coming home. And I fully expect for that home to become unbearable. And I think that's at least part of why they don't want you to have any uncontrolled channels of communication with the outside world. Because of what they're going to do to you. Your power structure is against you the same way that it's against us. We're both victims of America. Those of us outside America and those of you inside of America. The global South historically has borne most of the brunt of U.S. savagery, but that system is turning inward now. It's going to cannibalize you. And I think it's more important than ever for regular, average, normal people in America, Muslims and non-Muslims, and as I say, so-called minorities, members of the global majority in America, to begin to realize that your citizenship is increasingly going to be a restrictive contract that binds you to conditions that work against your best interests.
Right. And what he has said is amplified by all of what is going on so far. We got the rich going after the rich in Luigi. Okay. I find that to be quite interesting, that it's not a poor person that went after the rich, it was the rich going after the rich. So, if the rich can't even stand each other, really or supposedly, then it makes you wonder. You have all of the various people here when they thought that TikTok was gone forever, even though it's not permanently here now, as we have just come to understand. How they were going off, how they were just blasting off about this whole thing. Hey, I finally found a way to make a little bit of money, considering this economy sucks. Jobs are not, here we go. This economy sucks. Okay, I found a little bit of money, and now you're going to take that away from me. This economy sucks. Jobs are not paying. There are no jobs. Jobs are not paying. They want more experience than makes any sense. I mean, and of course I'm speaking probably more towards the younger generation like Gen Z and all them. I have not been biologically alive long enough to gain the experience that you all need for this entry level business. Okay? And you want all of this credentials and all of this experience for this, and you are fitting to pay how much for this? Negative. Okay. Economy sucks, no jobs, people aren't trying to pay. You want men to be men. How are they going to be men when they can't afford to even go out on dates, much less have to be fighting with women for the same resources just to have to go and give those resources to women anyway in the form of you pay? Because men, even though we're equal and don't need no man post-feminist day and age of equality, we're not in the dark ages and all that dumb shit business. Okay? Can't even do that, but and yet what? We're supposed to protect and provide? Okay. These people are coming from south of the border, looking for work themselves, and God forbid they probably wouldn't be here if, well, that's going to be another video. That's going to be another video, because Americans really need to get laid into on that one. So I'll skip that for now. So we got them coming up from the south. We got these people coming in from the east or west, depending on where in the U.S. you are. Okay. On that H-1B business. Okay. And that's also another video that probably tie in with that other video I need to make. Just migration as a whole. Okay. And then when all else fails, AI comes to lay waste to everyone. Apparently, there are quite a number of jobs that even in AI's early stages have already replaced people. So, and God knows that's not about to change anytime soon. So, yeah. That global policeman is coming home, huh? I said this how many videos back? Every single paycheck. Buy some bullets. Bulk pack of bullets. 500 rounds. 500 rounds. And I said that video is what? A month or 2 months old now? Okay. Don't know if I need to get me a rifle or... man, I want my Desert Eagle, damn it. 50 AE, of course. But maybe I need to get me a rifle or two or something. But one thing's for damn sure. Everybody was certain that 2025 much less anything coming 2026 or onward. But 2025 was going to be the year of either this is going to work or it's not. Either we're going to have to say fuck it or not. So, Trump getting in all of a sudden. Okay, well, that's all well and nice, but I don't think that. I mean, people are happy with him now. Well, some people, because oh my God, they got their precious TikTok back. But is he still on that tariffs business? Is he still talking about that tariff business? In this economy, with the no jobs, with all of that, is he still on that tariff bullshit? Sending back all, they're going to round up day one these illegals. Okay, well, the prices of everything is skyrocketing as far as food and stuff. But with these illegals gone, are those prices going to drop? Is Connor, is Amanda, is Summer, Amber, are you know, is Derek Winthrop the third, right? Like, are they gonna go out in them fields and pick that cotton? Well, not cotton, but those fruits. Because I went to Costco yesterday, and the prices that they had for those apricots, negative. Okay, so what's going on? What are we doing? What is the deal? All right. Oh shit! Yeah, that global policeman is coming home to beat us, his wife. Okay. Bitch, you better get yourself a gun. You better. And actually, speaking of gun, I need to. My Maryland CCW expires the last day of February. I need to go schedule the class and renew that business. Cause, feel me? So, yeah. Yeah. Ha.
So you should start identifying yourself with the rest of the people of the world. You should start identifying yourself with the historic victims of the United States, the victims of colonization, the victims of American empire, as much as you can. You need to identify with those people. I'm not just talking about through platforms and through channels of communication and you know, the internet or social media or what have you, but I'm talking about within your heart and within your mind, psychologically. Understand yourself as part of that global population that has been and is being oppressed, opposed, controlled, and exploited by the American power structure, because that's what you are. You're part of that population. That's what we are, and that's what you are. And we're struggling against it, and we're working to liberate ourselves from it, and you should be too. You should be on our side in that struggle. Don't side with your power structure against us in any situation, whether it's in Gaza or the Congo or anywhere else. Always be on the side of the people who, just like you, are being tyrannized by the American power structure. That's which side you should always be on. We need to develop a sense of situational citizenship. In other words, everyone who's in the same situation should consider themselves to be compatriots, one with the other, no matter where they are in the world. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. It means that the ties that bind us together should be defined not by borders, not by race, not by nationality, but by the common experiences that we share, the common struggles that we endure, that we're going through, by our conditions, the common injustices that we fight. I mean, if you and I are in the same situation, whether it's oppression, whether it's poverty, the fight for dignity, what have you, then you and I are compatriots. They've been telling us for centuries that we're supposed to be loyal to nations, to flags, and to lines that are drawn on maps and so forth. But I'll ask you something. When you're hungry, does that flag feed you? When you're homeless, does your national anthem give you shelter? This is not a thing that exists in reality. When they strip your rights away, does the government stand beside you? They're the ones who are taking your rights. It turns you back and tells you to fend for yourself. The fact is that the A-national elites who oppose us, they don't care what passport you hold. The corporations that exploit your labor, they don't care what language you speak. They don't care which side of the American border you're on. Injustice is borderless, and so should solidarity be. I'll give you an example. When you look at a worker in a sweatshop in Bangladesh who's toiling for some American company, for some American multinational, for just pennies, compare that to a situation of a single mother who's working 2 jobs in Detroit, barely making enough to survive. They don't share the same nationality, but they share the same situation. They share the same struggle. They're both being exploited by the same system. They're both serving the same masters. So why should they see each other as being any different? No, they should look at each other as brothers and sisters. In a shared situation, they're both in the same citizenship situationally. Or if you look at the indigenous people who are fighting for their land in the Amazon, for example, and compare them to the Standing Rock Sioux who are fighting against pipelines in North Dakota, what's the difference? It's different continents, different languages, different history, but it's the same fight. It's the same corporations that are stealing their land. It's the same corporations that are polluting their water. It's the same corporations that are violating their rights with state backing. No, they're compatriots. Whether they know it or not, they're compatriots. Situational citizenship means recognizing that your loyalty should be to the people who are beside you in the trenches, even if they're down the line in the trenches. Your loyalty shouldn't be to the people who are in the ivory towers giving orders. It means you're supposed to see someone who's suffering the same oppression that you're suffering. If you see people who are suffering the same oppression that you're suffering, you don't ask them for their ID. You fight together. Now, I'm not saying that you should abandon your identity. Be proud of who you are, where you came from, and so on. But don't let those things blind you to the humanity of others and your similarity to them. Don't let that keep you from seeing that your struggle is tied to their struggle. And in fact, it is one and the same struggle. Because if you limit your loyalty to your nationality, to your race, to your ethnicity, or what have you, then you're playing by their rules. And those rules were designed to keep you divided and powerless. In 2025, situational citizenship isn't just an idea. I think it's a responsibility. It's a recognition. When you see someone fighting for justice, well, that's your fight too. When you see someone suffering, that's your pain too. When you see someone rising up, why, you ought to rise up with them. That's the kind of solidarity that we need to build. A solidarity where we stand with each other, not because we share a flag, but because we share a fight. Your compatriots aren't just those who look like you. They're not just those who speak like you, or who come from where you come from. They're the people who share your struggle, who share the same struggle and the same situation as you. When we start to see each other that way, I think we'll become unstoppable. I've said this before. This is the kind of solidarity that the elites have built between themselves. You know, they are their own nation. They don't have borders. They don't care about passports. They don't care about nationality. All they care about is their class and their shared privilege and power and shared interests. So we should take the same approach. You know, I've used the analogy before about a prison break. You know, in a prison, people, if prisoners want to escape, well, you've got prisoners who are trying to tunnel out of the jail from inside their cells. But if the inmates in a prison actually demolish the walls between the cells, and then they can't compartmentalize the inmates anymore, well, they would take over that prison in no time.
Very well said. In closing, I have no idea if what happened to TikTok, even though temporary as it is for now, the death and resurrection, if you will, if that's going to happen again. However, there are a couple things that I think people need to take from this. And I'm going to go with the simpler one first and deal with the longer one. The simpler one is this. All this right here, YouTube here, all this stuff online, all of these things online is not sustainable. In that, you saw how easy it was to wipe out for a mass amount of people. It's not like it was just one isolated person, no, or even a small group. No, a mass amount of people, businesses, individual people, everyone. How easy it was to just wipe that out. At the signing of someone's pen, at the snap of their fingers, at the press of a button, they could just wipe that out. That is not something that you really want to build an entire empire on. That can be just gone in a flash. Like, no fight, no nothing. It's not like you are still there, but you're fighting to stay alive. No, you are gone, and you have to fight for resurrection. Not fight to avoid death, but fight to come back to life. That is insane to me. And that is the main reason, really, why I never really tried. I mean, this, like I've been saying a million times, this is a hobby for me. This, if my channel goes, that's it. It was nice, bye-bye. But whatever success that I gain either now or later in the future online with the social media and all that stuff, and it'll be purely accidental. It will not be intentional in the least bit, because I could only imagine. For example, I've been on YouTube for how long now? I think I signed up in 2006, right? 2006, 2007 maybe even. I think it was 2006. And now, almost 20 years on YouTube, 19 point something, or 18 point something, right? 19 point something, somewhere around there. Years on YouTube. And for all of that to just disappear in the blink of an eye. All that hard work. 2 decades of hard work just gone. And that's the same thing with X. In fact, my X has been permanently suspended. Not deleted, not banned, but just permanently suspended. And I didn't create a new one. Same thing could be for Facebook, same thing could be for Instagram, same thing could be for all these other things. And there goes my empire, and there goes my money along with it. No way. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because you don't actually own it. And that's the other problem with all this online this and online that and subscription this and subscription that. You don't actually own it. All the stuff in this room, I own. The stuff in this apartment, actually, I own. It's not leased. It's not on subscription where it can be taken away. I own it. This is actually kind of why I got out of video games, and I'm making do with the games that I've had, these oldies, these classics that I have. I don't get, I stopped at PS2. You've seen other videos on my channel. Sitting out there, PS2, PlayStation 2, the slim version. And that's it. The closest I come is on my phone. I play this Empire and Puzzles business. I used to play Plague Inc. Yeah, I still have Ingress on here. Kaspersky's game, Disconnected, that still seems to be working. I haven't gotten into that. I'm going to get into that at some point and see what that's about. But short of that, no. And it's also the same reason why I don't trust any of this cloud stuff. As IT based as I am, personally, I don't do cloud. I don't do cloud for anything. I have a cloud, and my cloud is sitting outside under my PlayStation that I can hit from anywhere in the world. Okay? I do not trust that cloud for the same reason why I don't trust these online subscriptions where you have access to it, but that access can be taken away at any time. Hopefully, everyone that relied on TikTok for their livelihood learned not to have, okay, sure, you want to have it as one source of income, fine. but not have it as the source of income. All right? Now, this is not me telling you, oh, get a real job. This is me telling you, don't have it as your main source of income. And if you can't do any better, okay, fine, you can't do any better, but if this is your main source of income, have it not be as soon as possible. Why? Now, this leads into the second order of business. And I'll be stitching in the last video from somebody completely different. This is not Bolson. This is, who is this again? China Central or something? The people, the people that left TikTok when they thought it was dead permanently and went over to China, actual Chinese stuff. First of all, the Chinese were wondering, hi, yo, how the hell did you get in here? I thought this firewall... You know what? Let me just go ahead and play it right now. But the simple fact of the matter is, it's not going to work. Not because it can't work, but because sooner or later, Americans are gonna American. What am I talking about? Here it is right here.
When Chinese internet users woke up and logged onto Xiaohongshu, they were shocked.
Hey, what's going on here? Is this still China?
Many of these unexpected visitors introduced themselves as TikTok refugees, explaining we're TikTok users. Since the U.S. is about to ban TikTok, we've been forced to migrate online. We're not here to take over your platform. We simply have nowhere else to go. The background to this is that on January 10th, the U.S. Supreme Court held oral arguments about the TikTok ban. If parent company ByteDance doesn't sell by January 19th, the U.S. will remove the app from its stores under the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversaries Act. This decision unsettled many TikTok content creators, who started to rebel against the decision. Their reaction? If I can't use TikTok, and since TikTok is considered a Chinese app, then I'll switch to another Chinese platform to show my dissatisfaction with the ban.
All of us TikTok refugees are so unhinged, and I am living for it. Our government is out of their mind if they think we're going to stand for this TikTok ban. We're just going to go to a new Chinese app, and here we are. I cannot stand all of the fear-mongering that is going on with the Chinese are stealing our data. Who cares? I don't care. I will gladly give my data to the Chinese because guess what? The Chinese have been here for us since day one. I will gladly sit here and eat my vegetables out of my bowl that was made in China while wearing my clothes that were made in China while sitting on my bed that was made in China. I have other important things to worry about. I still have to pay my rent. I don't give a shit what fucking app I'm using. If it's made by China, that's awesome. Everyone on this app has been so kind. Unlike our government who wants to take away our freedom of speech. So, I will gladly stay here. Thank you everyone for being so kind.
Some Chinese users were quick to leave comments, offering a word of caution. Friendly reminder, on Chinese social platforms, avoid discussing sensitive topics like politics, religion, or drugs. Stick to the One China principle and reject gambling, drugs, and explicit content. This comment quickly became the most liked. Initially, these frustrated American users wanted to join Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok. However, they discovered that registering for Douyin requires a phone number starting with the country code 86, meaning they need a Chinese phone number. That proved to be a major obstacle, as no one was willing to buy a Chinese SIM card just for this. That's when someone stumbled along Xiaohongshu, also known as Red Note, which only requires an email to sign up. Before long, a wave of self-proclaimed TikTok refugees flooded the platform. According to Reuters, insiders revealed that within just 2 days, Red Note gained over 700,000 new users. By 10 p.m. on January 13th, it had climbed to the top of the free apps chart in the U.S. App Store. Research firm Sensor Tower estimates that downloads of Red Note in the U.S. grew by over 200% compared to the same week last year, and 194% compared to the previous week. Looking closer at the IP locations of these new users, it wasn't just Americans joining. Users from Germany, France, the Netherlands, and many other countries have also joined. On January 14th, Red Note topped the free app charts in Australia, the UK, and the Netherlands, and ranked third in Germany. So why are users from these countries jumping on the bandwagon when only the US is banning TikTok? One British user explained their reasoning for joining Red Note. Even though TikTok isn't banned in the UK, if all the Americans move to Red Note, TikTok will get boring, so I might as well switch too. This unexpected influx of users has brought a massive wave of traffic to Red Note. The hashtag TikTok refugee has already surpassed 1 billion views in China, with millions of discussions. Chinese internet users, long confined within the Great Firewall, are reacting to this sudden development with a mix of excitement, curiosity, and disbelief. Some are wondering, could it be that while it's getting harder for us to scale the wall, the rest of the world is scaling it to join us? Others were puzzled, asking, isn't China's internet supposed to have a firewall? Isn't accessing foreign websites blocked? How are they getting into China's internet? One person responded humorously, the wall was built to block you, not them. For now, Red Note has turned into a surreal scene. Chinese users who often criticize the U.S. online seem to have temporarily set aside their grievances, showing warmth and engaging the new arrivals. Some even explained Chinese platforms welcome the American people, were against the U.S. government, not its citizens. Despite language barriers and cultural differences, users from both countries are, surprisingly, getting along for the time being. Some Chinese users, intrigued but slightly confused, began discussing topics like food prices and youth unemployment with American users on Red Note. These cross-cultural exchanges turned into what both sides jokingly called account reconciliation. They compared jobs, salaries, living expenses, insurance, and even asked if Americans really earn $15 an hour washing dishes. Discussions about income and welfare sparked mutual curiosity, with both sides eager to learn about each other's lives. Some even dubbed these interactions the most significant event of 2025. For some Chinese users, their immediate concern wasn't curiosity about foreigners, but rather their own English comprehension exams. Desperate for help, they posted questions online, asking native English speakers for assistance. Surprisingly, many foreigners responded with detailed answers in the comments. While the accuracy of these answers remained uncertain, the effort was appreciated. Others joked about treating these new foreigners like new recruits on e-commerce platforms. These new internet immigrants quickly adapted to the Chinese language platform, blending in seamlessly. Some even gained significant followings, with their posts going viral among Chinese users. This success left some local creators grumbling. As more TikTok users joined, curiosity among Chinese users about these foreigners grew. To foster better communication, some foreign users launched Ask Me Anything sessions, openly inviting questions and answering them enthusiastically. The cross-cultural exchange felt historic, with Red Note becoming a melting pot for users from both sides. Many Chinese users expressed amazement, saying, "Wow, we can chat with foreigners without using a VPN." It was as if a new world had opened up, leaving everyone exhilarated. However, the inevitable happened. Some foreigners touched on sensitive topics. For example, one user asked, "Can someone explain the differences between Hong Kong and Chinese law?" A Chinese user replied cautiously, "We really don't discuss that here." More controversial incidents soon followed. A Canadian user posted content related to Winnie the Pooh and the Tiananmen massacre. Their account has since disappeared and likely banned. Another user uploaded the photo of the Tank Man with the caption, "F the Chinese Communist Party." This account also seems to have been swiftly removed. These incidents highlight the challenges of navigating China's tightly controlled online environment, even for those who initially embraced Red Note as a new digital home.
The influx of TikTok refugees has created a huge dilemma for Red Note regarding content moderation. If they strictly follow China's existing censorship rules, the hype won't last long. These foreign influencers will leave quickly. But if they adopt more lenient international standards, Red Note itself could face regulatory consequences. The ideal solution might be to implement a regional filter wall. Content would need to meet local standards in each country before being shared. If successful, Red Note could break out as one of the world's most popular social platforms.
As for the so-called TikTok refugees, their presence on Red Note is likely a passing trend. Most joined due to their resistance to Meta and the U.S. government, rather than any genuine love for the platform. From both a practical and emotional standpoint, sustaining this migration wave seems unlikely. Cultural and regulatory differences between China and the U.S. further complicate matters. Chinese authorities are likely observing the situation closely, weighing their options as the platform scrambles to implement intelligent content filtering and regional moderation systems. Whether Red Note can retain these new users or avoid turning this windfall into a liability remains to be seen. Some even joke that the English moderators Red Note is urgently hiring might not even make it past their probation period. Even if this cross-border digital reunion is short-lived, it represents a moment of rare permeability in China's Great Firewall. For Chinese users, it feels like a glimpse of light breaking through the cracks, an opportunity to interact with the outside world and encounter a sliver of truth. This serendipitous online meeting of global netizens may well trigger a butterfly effect, with its echoes resonating far beyond the immediate moment.
And there you have it. So, it's not that going to China was some great haven. They've been doing for a while now what the U.S. is now openly doing, as opposed to covertly doing, and to a smaller scale. They're now openly doing to a larger scale. So, the simple fact of the matter is there's really nowhere to go, which again is the reason why I say do not have your main, much less only source of income be online, because this stuff can be knocked out. I mean, hell, you go and make it big on this Red Note or any other Chinese app that is Chinese focused as opposed to Western focused. I mean, you see how quickly they shut stuff down, right? There is nowhere to go. There is nowhere to go. So, hopefully people have been, in coming to the end of this video, hopefully people have been disillusioned. All you people that thought you were going to forever have a place online to make money. No, you see how easy it can be taken away. Now, this again brings back the problem of there is not enough jobs, high quality, high paying jobs, for the amount of people that are out here. Saying nothing of who actually qualifies, right? And who can actually do the jobs right. But even if everyone 100% qualified, there's not enough jobs. There's not. There's not enough jobs. There's not enough resources for the amount of people. Okay. And with AI taking what is the traditional jobs, or real jobs, with IT increasingly taking those, and you see how feeble this online stuff is, that's the end of it. That's as far as I'm going to say. You draw your conclusions from that. Anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you. I have, as much of other people's stuff as I've spliced into this video, I have not spliced in 100% of their videos, so go give them the views and the thumbs up and all else that you want. And that will be it. That will be it. That will be it. It is now Monday, January 20th, 2025 at 3:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am going to go compile this in the Movie Maker. Yes, I'm still using Movie Maker because, again, this is a hobby. I'm not about to go blow a shit ton of money on all this editing stuff. I mean, hell, I'm barely thinking of going to Temu and getting the lights and stuff like that to have more film-like effects, film-like quality. Okay, might be nice enough to hit you all with that, but let's be honest here, this is a hobby. I am not planning on this channel or any of my online presence going anywhere. So I am not about to go dump a whole bunch of money in something that can be gone like that. Okay, and I more or less have no recourse for, because again, go read your terms of service. Okay. So I'm here using Movie Maker. I am going to go compile this, upload it. You all can have fun. And I am going to go. Trump has been president now for what? Maybe close to 4 hours. Okay. Or 3.5 hours, 4 hours. I'm going to go refresh some stuff and see if he has destroyed anything or blown anything up yet. This man with his tariffs. Anyway, that's it. Thank you. Later.